Yes, blessed Lord. Blessed Lord, give thanks continually, of course, life given the keep of life. The Maui highly celestial first. Of course, in an honorable priest, Michelle Isaac here. And a wonderful moment and a wonderful hour, and definitely it is a wonderful time. Today I want to go into a subject that I am sure many ones would prefer that we not discuss. The thing is that I would agree that there's certain areas of discussion as it relates to our full liberation that you do not bring before the world, obviously. And you must keep in mind when you put things on the internet, you may be trying to reach a specific audience, but this is going here, there, and everywhere. So for sure, pretty birds, so for sure, you got to be well aware of what you are speaking about. You may also touch upon certain subjects that you could only go thus far and no more. Like our economic situation. Some people believe that you shouldn't speak about our economic situation. Are you crazy? The world knows our economic situation as a people. So there's nothing wrong in reasoning about it in the open. But obviously, you can only go thus far and no more. You can't say everything in the midst of the world. You can't put down all the strategies that you'd like to implement to the international community, to the worldwide trap. Nah, man. You got to reserve something for when we get behind doors and we leave all the computers and the sell you out phones outside the building. So we gotta concentrate, yes, even within the realms of different, I would use the term, religions, fraternity, groups, clubs, whatever you may have, obviously there's certain things, let's just say, you gotta keep secret. But at the same time, I'm speaking now of myself as a Rastafari and as a Bobo Shanti. We must comprehend that the reason why this moment here calls for us to have at the fingertips thereof, the international community in a second can hear this message. The reason why that is available is because that is what is needed for this movement. You see, Bobo Shanti is a mystic organization, and in the eyes of some it's somewhat strange as well. Some people consider it a different type of Rasta. But then what is quote unquote Rasta? That we can talk about a different type of Rasta. The Bobo Shanti, they keep their Sabbath day. Rasta don't really keep Sabbath day. The Bobo Shanti, they say they don't eat vine and pumpkin and cucumber. Yeah, Bobo Shanti stranger. Yeah, the Bobo Shanti don't eat those things. Well, most don't. The Bobo Shanti strange, see them always have their head wrap up and wear them long robe and thing. They're different, They're different when they come in the Bingy Tabernacle. They don't want to cover their head. Bobo Shanti, different. So I assume them is the different type of Rasta. Yeah, man, Bobo. Yeah, man. Wow, you want to know how the Bobo Shanti them? The man praise Emmanuel twin. Yeah, man, the man have Emmanuel as part of the Trinity. And Marcus Garvey. And yeah, Bobo Shanti, yeah, different, man. The man even have the red up in the flag. And the man can see that the Ethiopian flag have the green and the gold and the red, So it's a different kind of thing. Different Rasta, man. And some other things, Even though they set up the tabernacle, they set it up different. But different from who? What are you talking about? Yeah, man, the Bingy tabernacle is a circle. We just burn the fire inside. Yeah. The Bobo them to do that. The Bobo them to even burn them chalice in the Bingy. Bobo straight, you can't go in the Bingy with no spliff and light. Yeah, Kete man. You can't do that in the Bobo church. Different. Yeah, man. And the altar set up different. Yeah, man. You want to sing out the hymn book and thing, Hymn book. Now, my brothers and sisters, I do not know how long we're going to be speaking today, but I think we have somewhat to say, and I'm really going to treat this as if you're just sitting with me in my office space and just taking in a reasoning, with your brother. I'm not going to even have it as a lecture. No, we're just a reasoning. Because we're going to be speaking about the resurrection of Rastafari. Now, why we call it that now? Because Bobo Shanti now. Bobo Shanti, the different man, they celebrate the New Year in February, man. The 7th of February, the Bobo them have the New Year. You see, we running around the 11th of September and them Bobo not too much in. One, two man that will, but the real Bobo them, the man is 7th of February they're telling you about. The both of them celebrate Lent, you know. Lent, you know, man. What is this? Lent, you know, listen them, man. You know, listen them, man. They good, you know. Them man easy, you know. Them man celebrate Lent. Me here wanna say to our next one. When I Lent time, you know, eat fish. I say, what? Eat fish. Yeah, but we're different, man. You want, sure. Them man fast and pray during the Lent, just like the Roman Catholic Church. May I tell you. So the both of them have a different kind of way about them, you know. Yeah, man. I want to talk about when they come to the woman now. Oh, wow. Different thing altogether, man. It's when the woman got you a cycle. Wow, different thing the both of them got you. Wow. So since there's so many things, as I said, the resurrection, what it is, you must comprehend, and I'm speaking for myself now specifically, there are a lot of individuals in the earth that are seeking the truth. And it is obvious that this is the time when the knowledge will be outpoured. You know, we read of it in scripture, and even decades ago we were speaking of it, that in time to come the knowledge will be pouring out. And we had it like some spooky thing, and even though it's obvious that right in front of our faces, that, as I said, the international highway, information is just there. You don't have to go to the library anymore. You say what you say? You just tick, and it's right in front of you. There's a scripture where it says so and so and so. Can't remember. Tick, and the scripture will come up. Information and knowledge is right there. Okay. The international highway. Yeah. And you're put in a position now to choose good from evil. Because obviously, you're now becoming aware of a lot of things that you were not aware of before. But a lot of the things that you're now becoming aware of, they're not genuine. They're not true. This is why a lot of the information that comes to us is even false. Yes. But you now would have to use your own, common sense and pick right from wrong. As I said, 21 years we've been doing the Mystic Vibration program. And for those who know, the history of it, the Mystic Vibration itself, it began, as I said, 2 decades and a year ago. And it is a program, a radio program that has gone international, universal, television program, YouTube broadcast, Facebook broadcast, live lectures, the Mystic Vibration. But when the Mystic Vibration came into being, my whole acceptance of Rastafari became a reality as well. So it is one for that 2 decades plus. So within that time, as I said, from that time to even now, what you would have been asking in that time, you could get the answer in a second, in the wink of an eye. So now we're living in an age. I came in an age in the 90s, 96, 97. It was a mystic calling. Where I reside, many ones were citing up Rastafari at that time. Oh yeah. Now I cannot speak like the elders from the 60s and the 50s, for they will speak of their time. But I'm just showing you now that the time is changing. the time is not the same. Now there's another generation now, again where I reside, and to me, in the whole region of the Caribbean and maybe internationally, there was like this gap in the rising of Rastafari. There was this gap, the surge that you saw. I'm speaking of my experience, the surge that you saw in 96 and 97, you didn't see it in the early 2000s. So whatever was taking place in the media, I mean on the television, whatever the movies were, whatever the food that was being promoted, and the new drugs and vaccines and whatever they put in the water, it was working. And if it's just the natural cosmics reacting to the time, well, it was working too. But now, again, that surge is coming into play. There are many individuals, especially in the motherland, that is rising Rastafari, that is accepting Emperor Haile Selassie I. There are many in the motherland of Africa, Japan, China, and India, that is accepting the divinity of Emperor Haile Selassie I. Now what are we saying here? The youths, and I'm speaking of the youth now in the Caribbean, the Western world, and the whole world. The youth are seeking for the truth. The youth have to learn to honor the elders that have gone before them. But the youth are looking for a specific understanding of things. They don't want no pretend. They don't want no make-believe. They want clarity. Now, some of us can't pretend that we have the clarity when we don't. I'm being very clear here. Because a lot of us pretend that we have the clarity for certain things and we don't. So we want to clarify a lot of things for the youth. Oh, that bird is pretty. Listen to that. That's a loggerhead. We want to clarify for the youths that which is important. We're coming on to what is known as the resurrection period. Good Friday. Good Friday. I'm having a day with Good Friday. No, hold on. Bobo Shanti I talking about. I just explained that Bobo Shanti deal with Lent. When I say Lent, you know, man, the Lent, okay, some of the elders, they say, we don't call it Lent. I can comprehend all of that. But whatever you call it, it begins at Ash Wednesday. You hear me? You may not call that Ash Wednesday neither, and we don't call it Ash Wednesday. But that's when the 40 day and 40 nights fasting and praying begins. And this recording is being done on a Sunday as we glorify and celebrate Empress Menen Earth Day on the 25th day of March. That's really when the 40-day seals. But there's an extra added 4 days to the science because it's a science. I always like to point out to individuals, especially those of us who live by the coast. Now you see, like this time, I'm talking about the time of the Good Friday time then. You would pick up a certain smell coming from the sea. Now, as Bobo Shanti, during the time of quote unquote Lent, we don't visit the sea. That is why you hear some ones would be saying that they don't eat fish. Well, you know I don't eat no animals, nothing with eyes and teeth. Another man can explain why he eat. I can't explain for a next man. But I don't eat no animals. And there ain't no animal eating in the kingdom. I'm sorry if I hurt you. Well, that's how it goes. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just saying that at that time, you do not visit the sea. And it is obvious that there is a specific stench that you get coming from the sea at that time. I'm just showing you that little point to take it out of the realms of religion. Remember, this is a time when the individual not only fasts as what we know as fast, like food-wise, but they fast otherwise as well. Specific language that they would use. I'm not just speaking of Bobo Shanti, you know, check everyone. Places that they would go. I know some people when they fast, they don't wear makeup. Not when they fast, when they go through the Lent, when it's Lent time, they don't wear makeup. But after the Lent, they can put on their makeup. Someone's, during the Lent, they don't eat meat, chicken and all of that, and so they eat fish and fish alone. But after the Lent, they gone back to that. Some people during the Lent, they don't eat bread. When the Lent done, they go back to that. Certain people during the Lent, they don't listen to certain type of music. But when it's done, they go back to it. So whatever tradition that keeps this up, they've been taught a level of discipline in the form of abstinence. During the Lent time, sexual activity is cut off for different traditions. So they're taught a level of abstinence to provide that discipline of self. But I'm showing you again that even the science of Africa, can we carry out these traditions in Africa too? Priest Zebby could show you that. Because it's not religion. So because the Roman Catholic Church does Lent, so the Roman Catholic Church have an obelisk in St. Peter's Square. That doesn't mean something's wrong with the obelisk. In fact, where did they get that obelisk from? That's not a copy of an obelisk in Africa. No. That's an obelisk from Africa. That's stolen goods. And nobody can do nothing about it, it seems. That's stolen goods. Imagine that. Imagine that. And these people come out every Sunday talking about they're doing mass. And they never once said, my people, you know that that stuff behind here, the obelisk, did you know we stole that from Ethiopia? hey. Yeah, nobody's saying nothing about that. Imagine that. Stolen goods right in front of our face. So a lot of, their garments, the way they dress, the things they say, the things they preach, certain aspects of their concept, like the Roman Catholic concept or not, but it's quite interesting in the realms of Christendom. They revere the woman, their version of the woman. The prayers that you send to God through Jesus, you gotta go through her first. You think it's bad enough, you gotta go through Jesus. Is Mary full of grace and all that? That'll make sure that really goes through. So whether you like them or like them not, that concept of the divine being accepted, I think it's key. The reason why I'm taking my time, I'm not rushing this. You know, I know some of you boys, sometimes the video too long. Well, I'm sorry. This may not be for you. I'm going to hurt some people now. This may not be for you. I'm very sorry. I'm very serious. This video here may not be for you. It's not for likes. It's not for views. As I said before, there's some willing hearts out there that want to understand the truth. They want the key. Come on. As I said in one video, I say it again. In the resurrection service, some would argue that you wear black over white. Some argue that no, it's white alone. So what is it? What is it? The youths are coming in. They ain't coming in to battle over some old confusion story. They're coming in to get the truth. I know it's the will of the Almighty, you know, man. Why I stand in the center, in between yesterday and tomorrow. Even the position that I've put myself in to talk to the world, I know it's not by chance. It's obvious that I have a unique way of looking at things. But it's unique because it's the truth. We all like to talk, oh, in that day, the ark will be written on his heart. Or the ark, no man will have to teach no man. It's in the Bible. No man would have to teach no man because the ark written on his heart. Well, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I have a long list of people that I've learned from. And if you have knowledge, you have a long list of people that you've learned from. Even if you read a book and you kept one point, you have to still refer to that point, that book at some time. When we came in, there were many books that brought us in. Books from Naeem Akbar and Carter G. Woodson and Chancellor Williams. You hear us quote these books all the time, man. And, you know, these are books that I have to call Naeem Akbar first. You know, obviously, that will be a part of my rites of passage, you know what I'm explaining. So we have a list of people that we met on the street, that we spoke to, people that we've watched on videos that we've never met. You know, just a few days ago, I had the privilege of meeting Brother Alim Bey, you know, and at the conference that I was at, I had no idea he was going to be there. So when I saw him, I said, wait, that's not Alim Bey, man, Dr. Alim Bey, you know, so, and it's a brother that I've watched, well, I wouldn't say over the years, but for the last few years, I've, you know, gotten into his work as well, very, you know, disciplined in his scholarship, you know. Sometimes the scholarship may seem a little, wow, how much billion years ago you said, brother? You know, but still at the same time, you know, we have to honor all those, you know, that has taught us, and I'm sure he has a long list. And everybody on your list have a long list of people that has inspired them and have taught them. So none of us can act as if we just learn it all on our own. Because whatever you learn, somebody wrote it for you to learn it, or made it for you to watch it, or whatever. You understand? Right. But my point is, there's a specific type of knowledge that nobody teaches you. There's a certain level of information that comes from the Akashic records. I like to say that I'm the librarian of the Akashic records. I am positive. Because in the same way the scriptures can say that it's going to be written on your heart, and in that day no man had to teach no man. Well, trust me. I'm telling you the truth. That no one had to teach me. It came from within. And obviously I'm speaking of the knowledge of the mystery system, because I just explained there's a long list. But that's one level of knowledge. But there's another type of knowledge here that we're dealing with. So this is what I'm saying. A lot of us don't have the answers. Even why we wear black over white or why we wear white. We can talk, we say, well, look, I was there and I was there, and you still ain't got the answer. I'm sorry to say so. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Of all the elders, now you see me, I'm going to be clear here now. Very clear. I, as an individual, I am like a recorder as such. I'm like the ibis Tahuti up there, the Jahuti. So I've sat with many elders, many Bobo Shanti of my generation as such, have sat with many of elders. But have we milked them of the information that we need before they move to a next dimension? Now, I'm not calling nothing on nobody, but they have been moving to other dimensions. And again, a lot of us, we don't have the ability to connect with them in the other dimension or other things in the other dimensions. Well, we have the ability, but how are we opening up ourselves to it? Please bear with me. I really hope you can be with me. As I said, this may not be for everyone. If it's not, don't worry. We'll be uploading something a little more exciting later. But this is for a group of people that want to comprehend something. I'm going to take my time, because you're going to have to watch it again if it's serious. You young ones, especially those of you who cite up Emmanuel Charles Edwards, especially, I'm going to be clear, those who cite him up through I. Well, let's not make no mistake. It is just reality because of the words that I've spoken over the years. Many won't want to deny it because it's just there. It's the truth. They will tell you straight. Priest Isaac is who make me understand clearly. Emmanuel. I know ones that take off the turban and I make them put it back on. Because they were saying they love Selassie but it's Osiris. I say, yeah. Well, let me tell you about who the real Osiris is. And you know, the master of ceremonies. So I'm thankful of that. So I'm saying to you, this is for you. You want to understand what this resurrection Emmanuel talk about. Prince Emmanuel talk about a resurrection. Prince Emmanuel say, listen, Prince Emmanuel say that Christ was crucified. Number one, he was crucified in Jamaica, Egypt, Jamaica. You know the book of Revelation say in Egypt where our Lord was crucified. You know that. I'm sure you know that. You know that. Revelation in Egypt where our Lord was crucified. So which Egypt is that? Oh, I mean, it can't be Jamaica. So where is it? Egypt is Egypt in Africa. Okay. Christ was crucified in Egypt in Africa. Wait, hold on. Right, take your time. Just hold on. You're right to say hold on. So Egypt now. Anyway, forget about Egypt and what the Bible says. We're dealing with King Emmanuel. Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards say that Christ was crucified in Egypt, Jamaica, on a Tuesday. Now, a lot of what I am saying, I've received from the elders. Some you would get in pamphlet, but there's a certain level of knowledge that you get from the elders that you could read as much pamphlet as you want. I would burn again, brother. They say that they hung Christ, man. They hung him on the Tuesday. This is Prince Emmanuel talking. They hung Christ on the Tuesday. And he didn't die. And because he didn't die according to the law of the day, they were supposed to release the man. So they crucify him the Wednesday. and put him in a tomb. And he resurrected the Friday morning in his whites. I'm going to be clear. In his whites. Dust off, shake off the dust. Priest Morgan's word. Shake off the dust. And when he said shake off, the earth shook the same time too. Shake off the dust. And after he break him fast midday, he put on his black overwhite and prepare for the second Sabbath, the double Sabbath. Going into the Saturday, white again. That's the science. I'm sorry if you disagree, but I'm telling you, that's the science. I told you where I got that from. Well, I'm just showing you, this is what he says. He rose up the Friday morning to keep him Sabbath. And Christ was crucified in Egypt, Jamaica. I've heard Priest Bailey, and you can see this video on YouTube. I know Priest Bailey, one of our ancient priests I talking about, you know, man that walk with King Emmanuel, man that from all back a wall. And we're gonna get into enough of that right now. Priest Bailey talk about they took him from St. Catherine's prison, carried the cross until he reached 54B Spanish Town Road. Then he slipped, and then he established the Congress and then take back up the cross. And if you don't believe me, brother, you can go on YouTube. The YouTube page is Black King Network, and you can type in EABICCS HQ 2007 Good Friday service. It has 4 parts, and you'll hear what I say is exactly what Priest Bailey said. I don't have to repeat it. Now again, I know this is a solemn one. I know it's solemn. I know we're gone into time and we're going more. But again, I'm going to repeat. We have over 100 videos on our YouTube channel that are not as solemn as this. So if this is too solemn, again, no disrespect, it may not be for you. Because what I'm saying here, ones would prefer. There are others that would say, brother, you say this is not for the YouTube, you know. I understand how you feel. But the YouTube has created a connection with the innocent souls that want a proper answer, and they ain't getting it from no one. I'm giving them the answer. Trust me. Now I'm going to be clear. I don't believe in no fairy tale, no spookism. I'm being very, very clear. No weird vibes. And this is our problem. Many of us as Rastafari, we too Jesus-fied. And this is why even when, according to the BBC News, Haile Selassie disappeared, enough man just change. You see? And this again is the problem when we say Haile Selassie is God and all of them kind of things there. What? Something wrong with that? I mean, I use the language for conversation's sake, but you don't know how I think. Who is God? Who is God? General Goth. That's God. That's where the word comes from. The sustainer, all living being that has everything in motion. The nucleus of intelligence that brought forth all that exists. Its name is not God. God is a German deity that just happened to be the one that they chose. His name they chose as the name for the all in all, God. So all of a sudden we're disrespecting the all in all by calling the all in all he and she, God. That's how I look at it. This is all politics. Why do you think Albert Einstein is the greatest scientist? Not because he is. They have a heap of Bohr and all them fellas from his day that was just as smart and more even than him. But it's politics. It's money. So they decide to pull him out and make him the scientists or the scientist of all time. Nostradamus. You're right, Nostradamus. Look, listen. Damas is, look, Nostradamus ain't no great nothing. Even in his day, they had ones that were, putting things together and figuring things out. But they just said, let's put some money behind Nostradamus. It's politics. So he's just the man of the day. And that's basically how it goes. You understand? So this is an ancient vibration that I'm putting forward to you. When it comes to the prophecy now of the resurrection, as I said, we're not dealing with no make-believe. We're dealing with a reality here. But a reality of understanding. Because I'll be very clear, man, when I ask amongst those who sit with the man, King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, I'm not saying you don't know, but it's Priest Bob alone. He is the only individual that has given me, from his perspective, a clear answer of even when the crucifixion took place. Priest Bob was very sure that the crucifixion took place in the 1960s. I am telling you, brothers, when I came into this, and you would ask of those that came before you, when and where this crucifixion happened. It happened 2,000 years ago. Where? In Jamaica. That don't align with history. That and history don't align. And some of us, some young ones and those even after me, you have come into this and accept them talk. And you just roll with the flow. Don't get dumbed down, man. I'm serious. Don't get dumbed down. As I said, this may not be for you. You need to comprehend the science, man. Hear us talking about Kepra. We're deeper than this. So Prince Emmanuel now is a scientist of the highest accord. According to Priest Bob, the crucifixion of the Christ took place in the 60s. According to him, this is Priest Bob, Governor Hugh Foot has one of the 10 penny nails that they used to crucify Christ. Priest Bob said that. Governor Hugh Foot has one of the 10 penny nails that they used to crucify Christ. Yeah, so all of this is very interesting stuff. So the reason why I have to take time to express this, because for what I'm going to go into, a lot of ones need a clarity of at least what is already on the table. What is it that people are saying? They have other priests, some of them, I won't call the name for one reason or the other, and they will tell you clear. Well, I don't think they want their names to be called. But they will tell you clear, they can carry you and show you the tree where they hung the man in Jamaica. And all of this happened at Mother White Bridge. Yeah, Mother White Bridge. Christ crucified at Mother White Bridge. Yalla Pond, Yalla's Pond, them kind of place there. Yeah. All right. So he crucified on a Wednesday. Yeah, they hung him the Tuesday, he never died, and he crucified on Wednesday, and they threw him in the tomb, and he resurrected Friday morning. Wow. Yeah, yeah. Good Friday morning too. Good Friday. So what you mean to tell me? I mean to tell you that Christ was not crucified on Good Friday. He was crucified Wednesday, and he resurrected the Friday to keep his Sabbath. Where you get that? That's what King Emmanuel teach. Prince Emmanuel, yeah. They bubble something real different. So wait, where you want to tell me? So where all this happened? Christ was crucified in Egypt, Jamaica. Jamaica? What you talking about? 2,000 years ago? Well, Priest Bob said it was the 60s. Oh, this is wonderful, I'm telling you. I really hope we could, even if this takes 3 hours, it's going to take 3 hours, and we're uploading it. And take it as a collector's item. It's going to be a mystic, it's not even a mystic vibration. It's really a Black Christ agenda, but it's one like none ever. We're talking about the resurrection of the Black Christ, and the resurrection of King Emmanuel, Charles Edwards. That's what he's talking about. So it is he talking about when resurrection. So we he did now too. What we coming he? Yeah, this Emmanuel talking. What we coming he? He not around? And if he not around, how did he leave the scene? Tell me he disappeared, man. They call me no funny talk. Just give me the story straight. You're talking about resurrection. Last time I checked, he was around in 1994. I hear Capleton say you go and talk to him, but what happened since then? What I would like to do now, that's how serious we get in here. What I would like to do, I know most of you are well familiar with the Coral Gardens massacre. And the Coral Gardens massacre specifically, I hope you're having a wonderful time. Please, if you were here, I would give you something to drink and make sure you're fresh, because I know this one is a little testy. I know, even if you consider this one a little boring, I'm going to say it one more time. This may not be for you. If you want to watch, I would love you to watch, but I'm doing this because I don't know everybody that's checking me. There's some people that literally check me, and they've accepted the truth that I speak. And a lot of what I say goes contrary to even a lot of what people that say that they are of the same order that I follow say. You think all them pyramid talk and Osiris talk and them talk go down well with some of our elders? It does not. Or you just play reggae music. I will get to that sometime too. That's going to be another in-house discussion. Oh, that might be calmer than this. But what I'm saying is that I know that I have a responsibility. I can't just become a talking. This ain't no fun thing, That's why I take this thing seriously. This is why sometimes you see I get away, because I feel some of us, we too jokey. This ain't no joke. This is a serious thing taking place here. You think I have this as play? When I come and I speak and I bring proof and say, look what it say, and it can't be denied, and then I lock it off and upload it and walk away, and somebody say, wow, that drink sick good. I gonna accept what he say. There's a spiritual world, Rasta, that judges you. All them you think is a lie when the scriptures say, woe be unto those that lead the people astray. So here, with all them different doctrine, just on YouTube alone, somebody got to be leading somebody astray. Even with pretty words, it sound nice. Boy, he got the facts. Look, the primary evidence. Leading people astray. Yeah. So again, a lot of what I'm speaking of, it's not taken well. And as I said, I don't know who all, needs this word. But it's my duty. I'm responsible to put down this word here today. I come with the answer. I'm sorry, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. So the Carroll Gardens massacre. Now, first of all, the Carroll Gardens massacre, or Carroll Gardens, some say Carroll, but it's Carroll. Gardens massacre is bigger than we know. There's a documentary, I'm going to be dropping something from it right now, that speaks about this incident. And it's really the massacre of Rastafari. Now this is where you have to comprehend who Rastafari is, especially in Jamaica. You see me? The name is real mystic boy, Jamaica. Because it is there in the West where that spirit rose up to call upon the divinity of Haile Selassie. It's Marcus Garvey. Read his speeches, man. We talk about this Rastafari several times. Man say, oh, Marcus Garvey never said this. Some play he write. Well, Marcus Garvey never actually said anything, but he wrote a play. Well, the play alone, to me, that's the prophecy there. Where an Ethiopian king and queen shall be crowned. That's the prophecy there. But Marcus Messiah Garvey, even when he went to St. Kitts, he spoke about Rastafari. He said, well, we knew the one Rastafari and we promoted him. So that means he always spoke highly of Ras Tafari. Marcus Garvey from Jamaica, St. Anne's Bay. Check Burning Spear if you think making it up. Yeah. So it is from there the spirit did arise of Rastafari, and the people themselves rose up as well. And there you had the Youth Black Faith, Leonard P. Howell, in the old ancient days. I'm going to be playing, as they say, a few things here from some of the elders that was speaking of, what they went through. They broke down Pinnacle, I think, in the early 50s. 1958. At this same time, 21st of March, the Equinox, man. Brutal massacre at Victoria Square. We get into all of this. If you watch the documentary that speaks about the Carroll Gardens massacre, it speaks about, from their perspective, how it began. And it was just brutality from beginning to end. Years before the Carroll Gardens massacre began, what led to it began with brutality. Rudolph in Rose Hill. Even from that time, the police in Jamaica, and remember, if you watch that documentary properly, the police in the documentary clearly shows you that as a young officer, they were given the effigy of a Rasta man to use for target practice. So it is the effigy of a Rasta man they would use, pow, 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 for target practice. So obviously, the whole mind frame is being now developed into hatred for the Rasta man. Yeah? So that is exactly what is taking place, or was taking place in that time. Even just the whole idea, you coming into the police force and they're not giving you no effigy of no thief, no robber. You know what I mean? Nothing. The Rastaman is the enemy. Bustamante. Bustamante. I'm telling you, you better understand that at that time, all the federation you're talking about, these islands were the direct and are the direct puppets of our enslavers. So according to the narrative of that story, the brother Rudolph, who was well known in the community and everything, you know, the Babylon came upon him and he was working a specific land, and they're saying, oh, he's not supposed to be here, and I think they give him a couple shots, but he didn't die. He spent time in the hospital, then spent time in the prison, and he was treated so bad in the prison that when he came out, he said, hey, if you get 5 men with him or 10 or something like that, you take over the country. And other things took place. There was some man with beard that raped some Japanese woman or a Chinese woman. Chi Ping something, I can't remember that fully. But Brother Alvaranga speaks about that in another documentary. And they say it was a Rasta raped the woman, and the whole police rise up now looking for Rasta man, and so everything was building up. And then the murder at the gas station, which was on Holy Thursday, just added fuel to the fire. And this is why now the Coral Gardens massacre is directly related to Good Friday. Hold on. We're talking about 1963. You gotta understand what's taking place in the world at that time. This is 3 years after the emperor come to Jamaica, man. Think it's a joke? 3 years after that, God and King came to Jamaica. So I'm just saying now that in 1963, 3 years prior to that, the Coral Gardens massacre again is something that is remembered on Good Friday to the point that they call it Bad Friday. Wow, because of the atrocities. I want you to listen to this clip here coming from that same documentary about the Coral Gardens massacre. We already gone into an hour. Just bear with me, my people, as it deals directly, specifically with, you know, the brutality put upon Rastafari.
What is your name?
Oh, Noel Bennett.
And you're born?
Born in Jamaica, in Cardwell, April 43.
My name is Winston Ferguson. I was born in Barnet Lane, in 10 Barnet Lane, 1942, 5th of October.
My name is Alan Bennett.
And when were you born?
1935. My name is Cardinal to the Fish, Frank Garden.
My name is Justin Reed. I was born in South Spring in 1923.
My name is Enos Aldi. I born 1934.
I was born in Westmoreland,
1920.
William Ivan Summer.
My name is Cousin Shakespeare. I was born January 20, 1937.
Prince Albert William.
And when were you born?
1946, 47.
Thomas Lyon, my name was.
Thomas Lyon.
Yes.
Alright. And You don't know which year you're born?
No, man. They are like it.
I was born 1932, the 15th day of March, at Montego Bay, Strand Street, 10 Strand Street.
Well, in my experience of Carl Garden, personally, I was in the hills, in our St. James in here, burning coal for 6 weeks, cutting down coal wood to burn for a coal, that we can get it to cook into the stove. And when I come out of the hills now, dry the coal the Friday, the Good Friday, and come out and distribute a bag of the coal to a vendor, and go on to my brethren to ask him what's going along, and tell me, say, well, police is in the area. So I leave now from the brethren and come up to my gates, still in Granville. These things that I'm telling you happen. And when I come up my gate now, I did have a sister that I and I rest together as my empress. And then I trod now to a higher hills called Charman, where I farm, my little farming and so on. And was in Charman Mountain for around 4 days until I leave there and trod to St. Elizabeth and the daughter. Call here to the part of St. Elizabeth where I trod, called Cedar Spring, is around 28 miles from Montego Bay. And we trod all night. And when we reached there, they clean out. So when we were there with our brethren now, called Bongo Levi, the area of the brethren house then. So we mustn't go up there. So I asked them why. Them said because Rasta killed police a Montego Bay.
Because guns have been coming up on our night. And they could kick our night now. Murder night. Too many things with our night. And send it back in prison.
And they grabbed me. And they put a rope right round me, you know, make sure that they rope me, go down, foot, head. And they tell me like banana.
Come up in the yard and when I handcuff you and foot handcuff you. One of the policeman say, man, we could have had a great man run down the building. Mr. Man, how they say to me? Mr. Man, you'd have built the fastest when you build it down. Blow up it. One of them got one long one. See that where you can't see it. Look at it, man. You know, one long gun in this one, the long one go, and it told its head, boom. One of the sisters then did and scream out. He says, you scream out. Not me, I said, no, wait till them go down, sir. I don't agree.
But I was in Wakefield, touchdown Trelawney, on the 12th of April, 1963, where Buster Manti and Harley Regine come down to say, kill Rastafari. And them take I from Wakefield. In fact, them cruise to I from Wakefield to Montego Bay. When I go to Montego Bay, I have to kneel on my knee at 14 and put me on my head and shut up my eye. It's on go eye self, not lift eye self. To every man have a privilege. If you dig out your eye, there's nothing unto the government.
In that time, you know, then you just beat drasters and shoot them and all them things and lock them up, and some get imprisonment and some get jail and pay some cash and find them, and some go to prison.
The government said we carrying all Rasta dead or alive. Either their head, cut off their head or carry them in, or kill them and carry them in, no charge. But then take away 3-year imprisonment. They carried me to the Montego Bay jail right in the center of the town. They beat us, they do everything to us. When we ask for water, they push us out in the violent sun. And they wait until when the sun hot. When you look at the concrete, man, you see the heat coming out of it. And they take up the hose, they have the water hose personally. And they touch it on from the hydrant. And they spray us in the water, in the middle of the sun. And the night was coming along and them trying to them search me, because they don't want me. Then we call out. And the bad dog, them, all kind of dog, them come up and ready to heat up the structure. But you see, as I was a humble youth at them time there. They couldn't eat I come in the war then. They stand up and you what them have to say. Then came the guard here. Beat me very, very properly, beaten from the generation. And then came the guard here. Then lock I down. And then lock I down now, I believe then give I beard. And sentenced me for 30 days in prison. The first sentence that.
I don't see the half of Caravan incident because I was at North Gully and I couldn't go round and round to see the half. I couldn't walk out because it was danger. Which I tell you from the beginning that I was pregnant. Okay? Well, the Wednesday when I got up, I hear some people like over the other yard, they talk, Rasta kill man, Rasta kill man, Rasta kill man.
Them start to fling buckle, fling stone at our head and I slip them then. And some they jam I with stick. But the one that I was watching keenly is the big, strong, black guy that have a big rope. Call it around a 3 inches rope. Feel like you know cast a cows every time in the rope now for cast I know. I burn lightning and thunder and earthquake and I seen fear. So I start burn the said words them, lightning and thunder, and shook him out and go up on the hill quicker than him.
That soul will feel me there. Yeah, and they kick out my door.
Yeah.
And they turn up my face, turn down my face and turn me back. And then at me back at beat with the riot button and one bus. So I'm the ribs and broke. 2 of them broke. They give me only all in my head. Man, me some fool man, piss up myself. Remember me, I tell you biggie.
And when I look, I see man no our leaf with stick, stone, machete to every weapon them have. The arm and barrack buck up wide and that is sword the soldier them. A blue suit them have on with helmet. Gun, one of them take the gun and lick I right at the said. Right here so I lick I drop clear like tongues. The time I drop about 7 of them at pure kick. Raise I up back. I beat from this side right onto the earth.
You should have checked morning. They take you one by one. And button the meat, the buck up and button the buck up and button. When they done 3 morning straight, then give you that them feeding them. Beaten. And every one of them will beat you. So have to chop up hand. For hours then lick and flesh of flesh, but 2 hours up for them lick and lick. But now buck up on one another. And flip back to them full muscle and all that. They have to chop up their hand. But while we was there now in the night, police come in the morning, early in the before day around 2 o'clock, they charge the brethren for common assault. And they charge I know for the brethren gas lamp that they took away from the brethren. And the brethren have a big cook fork that him filed his fried dumpling with and sell it when he was in Kingston. And him take a big cape from him and charge me for those things, unlawful position. Well, they spent 7 days in Black River Police Station, and on the 8th day now, they transfer us to Balaclava Police Station.
All right, well, give thanks.
What I see, some police and soldier and pavilion, they come through the cane piece was out there, right there. And the whole of them come through and then take me first.
Okay, no problem. I think we had a good idea what we're trying to get to here. Okay, so basically for those who had no idea, you have an idea, and that's just an idea. That's the audio of a video, a clip that you're just receiving there. But now you could just imagine those who were living that. The same sister that said she was pregnant, she lost that baby. Imagine those that were living that. Now this is the 1960s. And it's not just that one day. It is not just the Good Friday, the quote-unquote Carroll Gardens massacre. Even from the destruction of the Pinnacle, even of the brutality of 1958, which we're going to get to now. Even the Carroll Gardens massacre, as it's referred to as, which it was, and the destruction of Bakawal, even, and all these different episodes that took place. Yeah, it was a continuous destruction, brutality, murder, mayhem on the Rastafari population in Jamaica. And that foolishness trickled down to the Caribbean islands. Dominica, the disgusting dreadlock. Anyway, let me not even say. But the dreadlock of Dominica, the elders of Dominica, Brother Wall and the Trotters, they would clearly tell you. They could remember the days that the school buses would just pull up to the bottom of the hill, because you know Dominica is a hilly place. And they would pull up to the bottom of the hills, and they would go up in the bushes, the policeman with the school bus. Go up in the bushes, the seat, and so take out to the school bus. The seats of the school bus has been removed. They removed the seats, have been removed. And they gone up in the hills now with their guns. And they're not coming back with nobody alive. They're coming back with families of Rastafari dead, not Rastaman. Families, little babies, little boys, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and they just throw them in the bus. Dominica I talking about, you know. Dominica. Under Dame Eugenia Charles. Wickedness. They did it here in Antigua too. Wickedness. Now there's a level of wickedness there that I mean is unbelievable. Even those of you that are police officers, it's sick. Give me a break. I myself can look at the situation and understand that, hey, you were seeing something new. You gotta understand, you know, we're coming out of slavery. And we've been totally robbed of ourselves. So when Rastafari arose, when Marcus Garvey came, when Haile Selassie I sat upon the throne, it was at the opportune time. Marcus Garvey came when we were 4 days stinking in the grave, like Lazarus, 400 years after the fact, like Lazarus, and resurrected a dead people. So this was our condition. So seeing the original man, because that's what you saw when you saw Rastafari. You saw the original man. You saw the first human being. You saw the matted hair and the dreadlocks and the beards and the African drum. You saw the first human being. You saw yourself in your same condition. So you got afraid. You were worried. And then obviously the wicked was on your back too. So you don't know what to do. You're just a little officer working in the force, trying to get a pay. That's what you are. You know, trying to, no job, so join the force, join the army. That's what you are. A lot of them people that over in the Middle East dropping bombs here, there, and everywhere. That's what it is. Can't get a job, so they join the army. Ain't that what it is? Yeah. But I'm telling you, brother, whether I could get a job or not, I have to have some level of morality in me to know this cannot be right. These are human beings. Okay, yeah, they're different, but they haven't done nobody nothing. And even though some of the old people will say, oh, I come in my ground and steal my dash in and my well, that if that was true, that doesn't deserve the treatment that these people are receiving at the hands of the authority, at the hands that those who are supposed to serve and protect. But you see, we couldn't vote, so it didn't mean nothing really. Yeah. I'm saying that sarcastically, you know. Not that the vote mean a thing, for sure. In fact, the vote mean a lot. Yeah, but what does it mean? Yeah. So I'm just showing you the brutality that went on all up and down the Caribbean for Rastafari. Trinidad, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, St. Lucia, Mount Jimmy. What kind of wickedness? Your old black brothers killing you, come in and find you cooking on a clay pot. Huh? Cooking on a clay pot, you there, your wife there, your 3 children there, and she's sucking a baby on her breast. And you mean to tell me you killed them all? When it was 10 of you and none of them have a gun? You killed them all? You killed them all? I'm talking of, when I'm talking about Dominica and these places, I'm talking in the 70s. So I'm not even speaking of the 60s, I'm talking in the 70s. So I'm talking 40 years ago. Some of these killer cops are still alive. I know some of them personally. That's how I know the Almighty is the Almighty in the man. Jeez. One of them chief persecutors of Rastafari here. When I used to go to the Anglican church as a little child, me and my mother, bless her, give thanks, I would always sit at the back of the church. I'm talking a little boy. She would go and sit somewhere closer to the front, but I would always sit behind. I come in the church and I sit down behind. And this police used to sit down right in front of me. I didn't know nothing about that at the time. And he was up there in the church, and at the time he beating Rasta. The same time he coming in the church praising Jesus, he going out and beating Rastas. Because I've come amongst the elders. Remember, I grew up amongst the Rastafari elders as Rastafarian. So when I hear them say, yeah man, and when police so and so does come, I say, yeah. You mean the one with the mouth? Well, I don't have mustache, but you mean so? I said, wow. He's one of the worst of them. So it's not no long time story we're talking about. Yeah, we like to talk about what the Caucasian have done to us and the apartheid in South Africa and the apartheid right here. Yeah, the treatment Rastafari gets. The treatment that Rastafari receive from our own brothers, classmates, cousins. Yeah. Some of our own parents call the cops on us. knowing that they will brutalize us when they come. So I'm just saying now, this was something that was taking place for a long time, not just on Good Friday. But you see that Carroll Gardens massacre, there is a strong energy of brutality, not just that day. The day before, the day before, the day before, and the day before, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after, and the day after. The Carroll Gardens massacre. But before we go back to the Carroll Gardens massacre here, there's an interview that we run from time to time on radioanu.com. And of course, I'll invite you, if you're watching this on the YouTube, to join us on radioanu.com, the international flavor, the universal spice, radioanu.com. And of course, on radioanu.com, you always get something to inspire you. Doesn't have nothing to do whatever religion you may be. Always have knowledge, inspiration to touch the soul. Yeah, wow, what a groovy day. So fasting and praying does, So what I'm going to present to you now, I'm just going to present from the mouth of Martimo Plano, who is obviously, a outstanding Rastafari as far as historically amongst us. His connection directly with Haile Selassie I. In fact, what I'm going to present to you here is an interview he did with Muta Baruka, which we have broadcast several times on radioanu.com. And what he'll be doing, he spoke about a lot of things. He spoke about Haile Selassie's visitation. He spoke about, his connection with Bob Marley. But he really went into the whole, history of exactly what took place when Haile Selassie came through. So that was very interesting, very nice. So Muta Baruka now is going to ask him somewhat a bit about Prince Emmanuel, and because he was Prince Emmanuel's secretary in the early days, and he was there at the formation of the Congress in 1958 on the 1st of March to the 21st of March, and he's going to explain what took place. Let us take this one in. Okay. Yeah. All right. Doesn't want to play there. All right. Well, as I said, this is going to be. Just let me reload it here. This is going to be an interview with Muta Baruka, Martimo Plano, and Muta Baruka, specifically dealing with the events of 1958. Okay.
Here, continent. Here. We tell you. Yes, continent, may I tell you,
All right, just pardon me there a second there. I don't know why it's behaving like this. You know how it is with the confusers. Doing its own thing. It's going to return right now. I see what it did wrong. But give thanks again for your presence with me. I hope so far we are getting where we're getting. We're almost an hour and a half into this.
We have...
okay, here we go. Let me just try to get this for you. And
no.
as I said, please don't be upset if it doesn't seem like a turned up program. You know, it just got to be how it got to be.
Well, he moved it from the south and carried go now Victoria. Well, he moved it from the south and carried go now.
Prince Edward.
A little cup.
All right.
So Scully, well, one little money now and six a fish around, you know.
Wow, what a program today.
And give a little, whenever the dog give rhythm, give the rhythm Payaka. So call it Brother Payaka. Well, we do that one.
Well, I'm going to see what I'm going to say. Here, we tell me to you, yes, cutting edge, may I tell you, them vibes there. Yeah, what did I say? Do you have any vibes like Prince Edward? Whole heap of one never have none close, especially now that you have a whole heap of youth. We are healing him as part of the Trinity. But yeah, I didn't know him from the Trenchtown times and things.
Prince Edward?
Yes.
1950 at the first of March, him keep a convention, the Ngaki Walk. And we got me, as him secretary, me write all of the communication there. Me don't know Bobo no, but me write all of the communication.
Them days you did have Bobo, I mean you did have man who follow him as part of the Trinity.
No.
This is a new thing. Come on.
No, it was Emmanuel Edward.
Prince Edward
Emmanuel Edward.
Yeah.
Good. Well, in a March the first convention starts. And in the March. You know, somewhere between the line, from the 1st to about the 18th as them did it, they moved the meeting from Spanish Town Road where Billings have him same place where see them and show them all the tunnel that come from and the stuff. Good. Well, he moved it from the south and carried go now Victoria Park. Rastaman go there and take him high and rad. Victoria from down at the bottom of Beef Market, Kingsley, and put her right part there. Rastaman take him high and rad and lick Victoria and pop it. Broke off Victoria and so it get police mad. So imagine the one in live Victoria and all of the things that statue of Victoria. Them beat Prince Edward to pulp.
Him influence it.
Good. Good. Well, in a March the first convention starts. And it's supposed to end. In the March. You know, somewhere between the line from the 1st to about the 18th as them did it. They moved the meeting from Spanish Town Road where Billings have him same place where see them and show them all the tunnel that come from and the stuff. Good. Well, he moved it from the south and carried go now Victoria Park. Rastaman go there and take him high and rad. Victoria from down at the bottom of Beef Market, Kingsley, and put her right part there. Rastaman take him high and rad and lick Victoria and pop it. Broke off Victoria and so it get police mad. So imagine the one in live Victoria and all of the things that statue of Victoria. Them beat Prince Edward to pulp. Beating.
So it's him the lick the statue?
No.
Them say him influence it.
Good. One man who leave Akiwa Bakawa go to the park with him, you know. But it's pure broke up hand and broke up foot, man. Come back a base. Wounded soldier. parade of the wooden soldier. Now, me write a letter to Sir Kenneth Blackburn, the Governor General. He answered the letter. So we must carry a delegation to the appropriate Minister portfolio, which was the Minister of Home Affairs. Sentence them come from to Dr. Ivan Lyde. He was the Minister of Home Affairs. We got to him say, well, that at that time, we the Federation, we never mash up the West Indies Federation yet. So, him say, he meet in a 3rd of April or 4th of April. He meet delegation of it, 12 hours. You see, when they come back from Minister of Home Affairs, where we go meet, from that, Prince Edward, the Panamon, him no matter go back and meet, him no come and no meet, where it's just a conglomerate area. That I didn't have any 12 tribes.
There was a federation.
There was local 15 at the
Davis
time.
Lane. Yeah, we did that. Davis Lane, yeah.
Good. So, you find this up. We have this Prince Edward.
Rise up now.
Rise up. And everywhere we go, you have to move to go to the street. You have to move go Paris Street and Duff Street top there. You have to move till him find on the hill there. And so be
Rastafari history.
Yeah. Yes, give thanks to such words. Give thanks continually. We've gone an hour and a half into this reasoning there. But I knew it would take a moment, and we still have a moment to go. Okay, so basically you heard from Marty Moplano there, and I just blessed my chalice. Sorry, he didn't bless it with you, but give thanks, bless him. We just heard from Marty Moplano there. And he clearly explained, he was present in 1958. That's what he was saying. And those of you who know, the history, that was the first convention, the first Nyabingi convention ever called. Now, I'm not saying so because I'm a boy. We're dealing with history. Barry Chavins and these ones clearly showed you in 1958. By now, I think we know it, Prince Edward's convention. The first official Nyabingi ever called. I mean, come on, get over it. And so at this function here now, when they went by the Victoria Square by the statue, according to Plano now, one of the brethren took an iron rod and broke off Queen Victoria's arm or the hand. And it said that the police went haywire, man. And according to him, they beat Prince Emmanuel to a pulp. That's his words. They beat Emmanuel to a pulp. Now, I've heard ones speak of this. And anyone that saw this comes out with the same conclusion, that they thought that he was dead. He was left to dead. When I say thought that he was dead, not just say so like, boy, me say he kill it. No, they literally said, boy, look how they kill him, man. Yeah. You heard for yourself, You heard for yourself. Don't try to jump on me now. You heard for yourself. His secretary, Martimo the Elder Plano, one of our renowned elders, brother, speaking to another ancient amongst us, Mutabaruka, clarifying amongst themselves. Well, you know, the Martin Planner being the teacher, brother Martin Planner being the teacher there, saying clearly, well, hey, from what he saw with his eyes, they beat, he didn't say that they beat anybody. No, that was a serious massacre again. That's not really recorded like the Carroll Gardens. But that was another massacre. That's a one-day massacre for you. But the beating that the head of the event got was so bad. So bad. There was a baton, the baton. You know man talking about baton riot, baton riot. They said the baton that they beat him with, one of the batons for the chief man broke into 3 pieces. Never seen it, but it is said that it's still on display. The same baton that broke. They beat him to a pulp.
Well known, but still is not too much people still know up to man, you know. Simple as it may seem. Even in Jamaica,
yes, they don't acknowledge him.
And you know, we have an idea of his history, you know, we teach his history. Many of us would know at least something about him and coming up from back.
This is the interview that I did with Honorable Priest Zebulon Anafo Frafra. And he makes mention, I had it queued up, but it just got away. He's confused as they try to confuse you all the time, but it's all right. But in this interview, brother Priest Zebulon speaks of that same event. Let me see if I have it here.
As they say, Sabbath and robe and turban way.
It is not as loud, but
yes, man that fast and burn all them chalice, prophet, priest, and king, and Melchizedek. So we have an idea. You know, everyone would have some little idea of, you know, Charles Edwards, Pinsyman, Bongo Eddie. True. Different levels of comprehension, you know. We can go into the depths, you know. I listened to an interview with Martin Plana and Muta Baruka that I'm sure you know these individuals.
Yeah, I know their life.
Okay,
I know their life.
Before you get there, But a wonderful interview that we play sometime on my station, radioanu.com. And, you know, Martin Plano go into the depths of, he say he was King Emmanuel's secretary.
Of course.
At the
beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, but they see them people, they think they were too smart.
Yeah, he say
and that caused them
get
too slow.
To a pulp.
Yeah.
And that nobody thought he would live again.
Listen to this now, listen.
There's a man called Rex Nectarford, who's a historian.
Yes, of course, yes.
He said he never seen no black man beating like Emmanuel in his lifetime.
No. Priest Zebulon quoted from Rex Nettleford, the historian, and he's saying that Brother Rex was saying that he personally never seen a black man beaten so in his life.
That was when they went to Victoria Pier, where they thought they were going to Africa, and one of the big breaking broke up the statue, the hand of the statue in Victoria. So the police come up, everybody had to run. The man said, I don't know where to go. You grab one little baby with him, they carried it for him. And beat up him till he drop. When they bring the ambulance and throw him inside the ambulance, take him to the morgue. When they reach the morgue, when they open back up the ambulance, the man will sit down, shutting eye, bleeding and sweating. When you open your eyes, the whole crowd run. Yeah? We are 24/7 to the Jamaican radio.
No. You see, give thanks, Priest Zebulon. Now, as I said, Brother Nettleford, pardon me, Brother Rex Nettleford, well-known historian, and give thanks for the primary evidence. As Priest Zebulon said, he was watching it himself with his eyes on Jamaican TV. And the brother is saying, as a you know, historian, not just as a historian, what's the word I'm looking for, man? Accepted, respected. But he said that he has never seen a black man beaten so before in his life. He held a baby in his hand. Everyone was running away. He held a baby in his hand. And they came and they took it away. That's the historian speaking. They say no esoteric writing here. This is the truth. He held a baby in his hands. And they took it away. And they started beat him, beat him, beat him, beat him. And according to the dramatic presentation of Priest Zebulon, and he dropped. Yeah. When you watch the video, watch him, you see him do it. And they call the ambulance. So the man, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So while the ambulance coming, can't believe they killed the man. And they call the ambulance. And they throw him in the ambulance and carry him to the hospital? No. They carry him to the morgue. They carry him to the morgue. Where they carry him? They carry him to the dead house. What a wicked set of people. They say, Priest Zebulon says, when they open the door, remember Priest Zebulon is the man now. I didn't ask him this in the interview. I wanted to oh yes I did. What am I talking about? Someone else I'm thinking about. Because I have an interview with Priest Earl. I have an interview with Priest Corti, Priest Fliego. They're coming soon. There's something I didn't ask Priest Earl. But I'm just saying, Priest Zebulon sat in the mercy seat. They say before Priest Zebulon came, King Emmanuel always told them, from back a wall, a man shall come from Africa. Different languages, you know. So his account is, you know, a man that sit at the side of the Black Christ. His account is good. And he's telling you what the historians say on the television. When they open the ambulance door, they see a man sitting down with his eyes closed, sweating, and blood running off of him, sweat and blood. And everybody that was in the crowd looking, according to Priest Zebulon's dramatic expression again, and they ran away. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Maybe Priest Zebulon wasn't there, but Rex Nettleford was there. Mortimer Plano was there. Yeah. You heard the lineup of all the elders, Bunga Isaac and all the other elders, man, that gave their name and when they were born. They were there. They just explained to you what they went through in 1963. Now, am I saying that 1958, at the event, at the formation of the Congress, is the crucifixion of the Christ that Prince Emmanuel speak of, that got crucified in Jamaica? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that specific event was it. But let us return to 63 now. So in 1963, we have the Carroll Gardens massacre. You see, one thing that Prince Emmanuel speak of is the tribulation and brutality that he go through for this. It wasn't no one-day event. I'm going to clarify that again. It wasn't a one-day event. I brought up 58 because that's when the Congress was formed. I brought up 58 because Martin Moplano now would give you the direct play-by-play event. You hear the man, he almost laughed when he said something like, wow, well, they beat the man to a pulp. Throw him in the ambulance and send him to the morgue. I could imagine when the brethren see that man again, they say, wait. We say that the I was dead, brethren. Now 63 now. And the 60s, because 67 and 68, you see when the emperor come and gone, man, is at next level again, go down here, man. Real terror. Enough shanty towns get burned down. You hear what Martin Moplano say? Every time he goes somewhere, he have to move again. Then he have to move again. That's Prince Edward's he talking about. Why? Because Joe Williams and the police and the government, they would come and they bulldoze the camps, burn the camps. You hear elders speak, not Bobo, man. Elders speak about Emmanuel get burned up in a house. Rastafari. And how he get out, no one know. Because when the house, they thought he was with the house too. And he just come around. I mean, listen, there is nothing. Prince Emmanuel we talking about, you know. We spoke about it on the interview with Prince Zebulon. The helicopter dropped a bomb in Bobo Shanti Yard. Priest Headley and Empress Maisie. Priest Headley has spoken about that on the Mystic Vibration already when we broadcast the Mystic Vibration on the Food of Seven. So although Priest Zebulon spoke about it, Priest Headley himself, the man that went and got the bomb, saw the bomb coming down in a parachute and a little light behind of it. And when he go and he find it, he said, what? And he carried fast to King Emmanuel, and the father said, it's all right, my lord, I disarm it already. And Emmanuel is an army man, you know. He disarmed it already. You know, Bible story, this is a real thing I talking. And when they carry it to the police department down the hill, the police run. The last time they arrest Prince Emmanuel, can't give you the exact name, but the last time they arrest Prince Emmanuel, anybody that lived Bull Bay for years can not just Bobo now, anyone that lived Bull Bay for years can verify what I say. The last time they arrest him, I think they arrest 12 brethren and the Black Christ himself. And they say when they carry them down the hill, if you know the hill, when they're driving down the hill, the man, with Prince Emmanuel, the man, Prince Emmanuel, the man, lock him up for some kind of thing. I don't remember what the thing was, but lock up who they fired. I don't know if it's ganja or whatever. They say they had 2 police motorcycle. One coming from east, one coming from west, because they're coming down the hill, you know. So there's the main road now. And while they're coming down, a police coming from east and a police coming from west. And do you know, them police motorbike crash into one another right in front of the gap. Them police ain't got nothing to do with that raid, you know. They're just coming from where they're coming from. They come one from east and one from west, so obviously They're not even dealing with one another. They're just coming from the business and they crash. And look where they crash. Right in Bull Bay. When the police come and arrest the Bobo them and the Black Christ. That's history for you. That's history, eh? That's history. Ain't nothing make up. That's no made up story. That's things people speak about up to today. Who we think we're dealing with here? The bomb dropping out of the heavens, that ain't no make up story. The 12 o'clock earthquake, the Friday morning in the newspaper, the Friday morning it happened. But it came out in the newspapers the day after. Earthquake, the judge run off of his bench. Bobo Quake, that's where he get the name from. Bobo Quake had a case and he go to King Emmanuel and say what to do, and Prince Emmanuel tell him read Psalms 9, 35 and 68 in the morning before you go to the court. And when you go, you slap the door and enter in and tell the judge, oh brother, that there will be a quake at 12 o'clock. And Bobo Quake tell the judge, my lord, the earthquake coming in, my lord. And the earthquake came. And that man that was carrying up the service the night prior to that, Priest Price, that can confirm that the Father tell him read 7 Psalms on the hour, every hour till the morning light. Yeah. So we're dealing with a science man here. I'm talking about Prince Emmanuel, whether you like him or not. Because some of you elders very disrespectful to you. I'm telling you. Yeah, straight up. With all the love in my heart. You know, it's very disrespectful. It's only because, you know, when mommy and daddy argue, you kind of keep out of the argument still. So I leave it at that. But Honorable Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards, our elder, whether you think he's the Black Christ or not, he ain't no play around. Yeah, whether you think he's the Son of God or not, he ain't no regular person. Listen, I'm full of it, you know, man. I'm full of it, believe me. I can go on and on and on. I just wonder if some of our brothers and sisters, priests and prophets would want their business, you know, exposed to. Priest Robbie just told me a few days ago when I was in Bulby, something that his own son relayed to us on my Mystic Vibration radio program on Sun FM. You know, Priest Robbie has a daughter. Her inside was being eaten out. She was dying. You have to understand how the camp was running them time, you know. So it's not to say it's not no spooky vibes and like no holy things, you know, different. But this time anyway, because I think Priest Robbie will live outside of the camp, but in the same region. So his you know, some family members of his wife wanted to take the youth to the doctor. Priest Robbie said, but wait, we have the great physician up there on the hill. Why we have to go doctor? Let's check King Emmanuel first. He said a trial kind of thing. So when you go to King Emmanuel tell him, go to a place where a virgin land where nobody has, you know, walked, and dig 9 inches in the ground and take up the dirt and mix it with some Zion water, rainwater. They gather block some psalms over it, and so, you know, the general don't move it down the psalms, and then give her to drink in whatever portion and intervals. He said from the first drink, she vomit up some green kind of thing. I think the vomiting thing was the vibes. Yeah, she was vomiting, nothing staining, something like that. And then she vomit up a green thing. She said, never see that. And the vomit started to get thicker. It was always liquid, and within no time she up and played. Yeah, man. So, you know, you have so many stories, so many things about Prince Emmanuel. Just a natural man. And it's not that I ain't trying to add nothing to him. I don't believe in those spooky vibes. I'm not trying to add nothing to him. So if I tell you the motorbike man them run into one another, I adding something to Prince Emmanuel. I just telling you what was happening. If I tell you the bomb drop and the man say disarm it and police run from the same bomb, what are you talking about? What I say wrong? I add into it. Martin plan herself say he beat the man beaten to a pulp. I didn't say so. Priest Zebulon show what Rex Neckleford said is the morgue they carry him in, and the morgue. I'm not adding nothing to the man. I'm talking about the Christ that I speak about, whether you follow it or not. The mask of Lord Pakal, the serpent holder, Shanti Diva, the one who discovered the Beyond, the city of Maruk Bull. Wow. Thanks. So I'm just saying now, that it's obvious that we're dealing with a mystic man. I have another interview. I hope this don't give me no problem. I just wanted to play here, just a little bit, and I like to, you know, send off respect to the elders and give thanks. Even Ras, I hope I pronounce his name right, Flacco. Elder Ras Flacco, the works that I know that you've been doing, and you my brethren there, Bingy Blackstone, man. Yes, Brother Claude St. Clair, give thanks for your love and passion in the work, for sure. And this is an interview done with Mama Dean, and she's really speaking about Elder Bongo Watu, you know, elder that I was given the honor to meet, and she just speaking about, I think the way I have it queued up, she's going to be speaking of a little confrontation she had with Bongo Tawny, and because she seemed to be, she defend Bongo Watu to the fullest, and she going to be saying, well, you know what I mean, Tawny was upset saying, how y'all gonna say Bongo Watu is the first Rasta man that man before him? And she said, nobody say he's the first, she said he's one of the first. You know? But anyway, let's just listen to Mama Dean and we'll comment as we go along.
Him alone. The word one of means that there are also others. So Bongo Tawny was like, no man, him say I'm one of the first. I say yes, but it's English him speak, you know. So if him say one of, that means there are others who were first.
Exactly.
And he said, well, yeah, what a student, you know. Never too long about me.
Oh, you defend him, right?
Yes, I'm saying, yeah, what a student, you know. And so on.
Right, so, well, Bongo Watu made his contribution significantly in the faith. Did he have a camp at Bakawar? Because there were many camps at Bakawar. Did he want to have his own camp?
Yeah. Bongo Watu's own camp was at Trenchtown.
Trenchtown?
Oh. So this youth black faith thing which Bongo Watu tells one about, it was at Trenchtown.
Okay.
And every Saturday, every man just up in the white, robe and thing and gone a bunga water.
So he has
have them white suits still.
You said Saturday he was running a Sabbath?
In those days.
To Sabbath?
In those days it was Saturday. But after when the Ethiopian Orthodox Church came and once found out that the week began on a Wednesday, it would be Rome, Hamus, Ard, Kidami, Eud, Sanyo, Maxanyo. They realized that Maxanyo would be a Tuesday. So Tuesday was the Sabbath. Well, the Sabbath keeping get mashed up there so because some of the man them never understand how this going and think Saturday was still correct. But from what I learned, Saturday is a Western Sabbath day. It's a Sabbath of the West. And well, Prince Emmanuel, he took it over and said it's Saturday too. So you still have some lax people who accept Saturday.
So what went on in Bongo Waters camp in Trenchtown? What were the activities?
Drum beating, playing, and chants of ancient songs that ancient black people created. Most of these choruses were songs which black people created. Some of them was even taken from the IRD Sankey and the sacred songs and soul, but we don't get those Sankeys no more for whatever reason. You can only get redemption songs nowadays. But that is proven to I then, as a one coming from way back in years, that there was something about those Sankey that were not suitable or acceptable to the world of people who brought us here as slaves. That is why them hide away those Sankeys. We can't see them no more. So then bring a new one, a redemption song, which does not contain many of those ancient songs no more.
Yeah, because the Sankeys are Christian songs, you know.
Yes, but remember, black people were righteous people without being called Christian.
So, what you say, the early days chanting were most of a Sankey. Could you chant one of them, just a few?
Okay, thanks, and I'll go too further with that. But before I go to a previous point, interesting. Just several years ago, I was in this, I would say, heated reasoning, man, with one of my elders who have really passed on. Not Bobo Shanti. In fact, he was strongly against the Bobo Shanti's use of that same Sankey hymn book that she's talking about there, Mama Dean. Give thanks to Mama Dean and those wonderful words. Now you see what Mama Dean is doing. She's bringing up how it was in the beginning. And the reason why I drew for her witnessing and her testimony, I should say, is because I wasn't there. That's why you hear all these people speaking, because I wasn't there. But we're listening to those who were there, and anything that I tell you another man had said or another woman had said, I'm telling you exactly what they told me. So it's not my account as such. But at the same time, what is my account except what I see? But that don't mean I can only accept what I see. I gotta learn how to put accounts together to make sense out of everything. So as I said at the beginning of this rendition here, that the Bobo Shanti is a little different, the different. Many ones would always say, boy, we were all one in the beginning, but man broke away and farm their own thing, and man broke away and farm their own thing, and this and that. So we all need to come back as one. And I always ask, so who is the one that we all need to come back to? Now listen, I ain't pulling up no tribal war. If it's one thing about me, hey, I ain't not into that. As I say, every man to his own is a calling you got to get. Obviously there's a right and a wrong. Who play around? You know that. Because I stick to my guns. You ain't moving me off of this. But I'm just saying, if you've made a choice, you got to know the choice you've made. I mean, as I said, this is the age when you have all the choices in front of you. I don't think nothing is being hidden right now. So you can, discern the spirit to see if it's of truth. So am I going to try to argue with you and convince you We conscious already, we still convincing too much con in this, too much con in this. So you don't force people. When they come in the free spirit, they'll come to the truth. The worst thing is to pull people in that after a while you'd say, man, what did I pull these people in for? Yeah. You know, as a businessman told me, don't go hiring people, make them come to you. Then you could see they really want it. No, it's reality. So I'm saying, you know, King Emmanuel literally says, you know, as Priest Earl said, you'll hear it when I upload that interview. He don't go and recruit people. He don't recruit nobody. You're coming to him with a free and willing heart. You know, so it's a free and a willing heart thing. It's something that is open. That's something that you have to push down the throat of someone. You know? So I'm just saying now. But we're speaking of the first. Okay, I ain't arguing no first thing, you know, man. Because if it's first, it's Marcus Garvey is the first Rastaman. If we're going to talk about who is the first Rastaman, it's Marcus Garvey. But that ain't my argument at all. We're not into the first thing. We're here right now. But we're saying that we all have scattered. 12 tribes and Bobo and Bingi and Coptic and Orthodox. Well, of course, the Orthodox going to say there's the original thing, but I ain't Rastafari. That's Orthodox Christianity. Rastafari is Rastafari. Yeah, let's stick with the groundation. Now, as Mama Dean was saying, the first day was Saturday. That's what she said. The first Sabbath was Saturday. She said so anyway. And others have said so, but I got her voice to say so for you. The first Sabbath was a Saturday. And they used to dress in white and gather on the Saturday. Now, who do that up to today? Now, who do that? Let's just be clear. Who is doing that now? It's Bobo Shanti do that. Bobo Shanti keep the Sabbath. Well, you heard what she said about Tuesday was the Saturday for Ethiopia or the Sabbath for Ethiopia. Yeah, I mean, I heard that. And this video, and this is another thing, this video was published the 7th of October 2017. Yeah? This is a new video, you know. This is a sister that speaks Amharic. When I came into this, I remember the elders, Bagalaga was the first person I ever heard say so. A Rasta elder from my mom's here has gone on, said we, thanks for Bagalaga. That the Ethiopian Sabbath is Tuesday. And as a researcher, I went to research it. As a researcher, I went to research it. Listen, some of you watching this, you're in Ethiopia. Come on. I mean, there may be some truth to the understanding of anciency and cycle of days, eh? But I know for sure that when you're having church around here on a Sunday, they're having church on Sunday in Ethiopia as well. And it has been so from a long time. So Wednesday is not Sunday in Ethiopia, Sunday is Sunday. So the science really is, you know, in all reality, no disrespect. No disrespect, eh? No disrespect. But we have to admit, even in that time there was a lot of guessing. That is why, again, all Rastafari used to carry the red up. But when Haile Selassie came in 1966 and they saw the red on the plane and the green on top, yellow and red, all turned the other way and Prince Emmanuel kept the red up. So what I'm saying here, hold on, what I'm saying here, well, boy, is the emperor? No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying who right or wrong. I'm just saying that before the plane came, that's all I say. I ain't arguing about who right. I'm just saying before the plane came, there was this ignorance of what is really taking place in Ethiopia, that's all. Maybe you got some newspaper clippings and it was in black and white, that's all. It was not like the date of today, that's all. So I'm just showing you how things evolve. and knowledge increase. Ain't not to be ashamed of. Right. So again, we used to wear white and the Sabbath and all of that, but that changed. So that thing with the Ethiopian Tuesday and so, that is not correct. No disrespect. 2017, that is not correct. Saturday is Saturday anywhere you go. So we were keeping the Sabbath and we should have been continuing keeping the Sabbath. Because who Rastafari you know? Because the excuse. That's what they used to tell me when I spring up as a bubble around here now. Well, Ethiopia, Tuesday is a Sabbath, Tuesday is a Sabbath, Tuesday is a Sabbath, Tuesday is a Sabbath. Which one of you keep your Sabbath on a Tuesday? Which one of them? Which group keeping the Sabbath on a Tuesday? That's the problem. It's an excuse. You don't want no principle, you don't want to keep no Sabbath. Just say so, the man. It's like a woman leaving her man and she can't just tell it the truth, kind of make all kind of excuse and trying to make them break up. Just say you want to go. You don't want to keep no Sabbath. Well, it's not. It's the eternal Sabbath now. You turn Christian and me now with them talking there. Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's just so. So we all used to have the red up. So we all used to wear white. We all used to keep the Sabbath. We all used to have the red up. Okay. So why you say the bubble gone astray? Come to me like everybody else gone astray. If that's the case, don't be upset with me, yo. Keep in mind, you know, we all want Rastafari. I ain't got no, don't get me wrong at all. I'm not here trying to divide no one. If you know me, you know how I stay. We all want Rastafari. But that don't make me dumb to the fact that I'm a Bubba Shanti and you're not. And you're a 12 tribe and I'm not. I ain't got no problem with the 12 tribe, but I know for sure because I was born in January doesn't mean I'm Naphtali. And I fall out, well, I didn't fall out with them, but yeah, in Trinidad, the 12 tribe headquarters. I mean, it was years ago, but you know, hard feeling. They know that. They know I love them. You know, I wish I could go back there again, but they were asked not to invite me again. I had a lecture at the 12 tribe. I can't remember the exact place in Trinidad. It wasn't 6 years ago. Myself, Priest Solomon, give thanks, Priest Solomon. Trinidad, give thanks, my Lord. Majesty, the full Trinidad branch, you know. And we go through and I give a lecture, you know what I mean. I was doing something on the stars, so I let them know, hey, look, I know. And I didn't even say it like that. I was showing them I know that according to the 12 tribe concept, if you're born in January, you're Naphtali. If you're born in February, you're Joseph. If you're born in March, you're somebody else. April, I think it's Reuben, however it goes. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. Every month does have a spirit. Every constellation has an energy. I don't have no problem with that. And I could, if you're speaking of this on a metaphoric level, using that to be the description of it, I can work with that. But if you're going to tell me that because I was born in January, which I was, I am Naphtali in the physical sense, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Not only you're wrong, that don't even make no sense. You're wrong. I mean, that is not genotype and phenotype we're dealing with. Hey? No, come on. If you're dealing with the Bible and all of that, no. Because if I'm born in January, Naphtali, and my wife is born in February, that means she's Joseph. And then we have a child that's born in July, that means the child is Judah. That don't make no sense. As I said again, on a spiritual realms, if you're using the metaphor of the tribes, because it's metaphor, they come from constellation, the 12 constellations, Christ and his 12 disciples. So once you understand the mystery system, feel free to use it, if that's what you're talking about. Well, then I am Naphtali. If the spirit of Naphtali is the color of green, and the flower is the lavender, whatever the vibes is, and it's the heal, and your energy is economics, whatever, I can flow with that. Because when you were born and when the sun was here and there has a lot to do with all those things. But when you were born and where Mars was and where Saturn was and which constellation was doing what and what star was spinning around what star has nothing to do with your biological lineage. That done set up already. That don't have nothing to do with the day and the night, if it rain or if it don't rain. You're related to your grandfather, you're related to your great-grandfather. That's it. So if I am Naphtali and my wife is Joseph and we have a child, the child can't be Judah or Reuben or none of these things. Doesn't make sense. So that's what I was saying at the lecture in Trinidad. That was a long time ago. Oh, the place was packed, man. It was nice. Everybody afterwards, they done the 12 tribe and all, and some reggae music. That's nice. Dennis Brown, and you know. Yeah, after a while, I remember contacting the man himself. I think it's Bongo Simeon. I say, yes, Bridget, I would like to repeat an event like that. But they say, we had a meeting the same night you left, we had a meeting. And we say, you can't come back here and preach again. I said, oh my goodness. Wow. I say, wow, but that's tough. So I'm not practicing no separation. But I'm real. But I ain't practicing no separation. So I'm saying all that to come down now, obviously. We have been given this period from the same Ash Wednesday. As I said, we're not following no one. Who you think is the originator of all of this have been following us. As I said previously, they wrote no books, they started no religion. We were speaking highly of the symbolic writings. And I will say here, for those of you who have not even subscribed to the mystic vibrations on Radio Anu, I'm telling you, if you're really serious about the knowledge, you should subscribe to get your daily mystic vibration via the emails. Because we have just completed the third part, which we have already uploaded on our YouTube, of the symbolic writings, where we explain the science, this is how we wrote our history, this is how we wrote our religion, if you want to use the term, this is how we wrote down our theology, this is how we expressed our culture. We did it through dance, we did it through songs, we did it through writings, we did it through storytellings. And in our symbolic writings, part 1, 2, and we're now at 3. And Monday we will go into 4. You know, as long as it takes to explain how we were known for this, we'll do it until we're completed. So I'm encouraging you to contact us to get more information on how to subscribe to the Mystic Vibration programs and make sure you get it. So I'm just showing you now that Prince Emmanuel is that character, that scientist of the esoterics, whether you believe it or not. And that is why he expresses himself in all these mystic ways. Look at the service that we carry out. Look how many times we turn around to the left for those who understand what I'm talking about. Ask from the altar to the congregation and rise. And God give reverence, and you turn around. And you face the east, glory be, and when you finish, you turn back around. You don't turn to the right, you turn back to the left. I see man turn back to the right. You turn to the left. And the service begins as such when it begin already. And when you go into Zion, you turn to the left and you turn back around. Continuing from Psalms 21, glory be, you turn to the left, you turn back around. And when all of that is finished, they end in the reading of, you turn to the left and sing your glory be, and you turn back around. The next hymn, when the hymn goes into Zion, you turn to the left in Zion, you turn back around. There's a lot of turning in the service. So that obviously means if the service is carried out correctly, your Friday evening service carried out correctly, your Saturday morning Sabbath service, the Saturday evening service and celebration services, when carried out correctly, precisely, obviously you would have turned to the left a specific amount of times. That is why we can't change the ancient landmarks. That is why a lot of things needs to be rectified. You would have spinned around to the left. It's like a clock. Man, this is the man that shake the earth, no man. A specific amount of times. Look at how Psalms reading. And the drum and the horns. Who else does anything like this? On the hour and on the hour and on the hour. We're dealing with a scientist here. We are dealing with Melchizedek here. And I'm very sorry. I don't like to compare and contrast. But there's nobody in his peer group that can compare to Prince Emmanuel Charles Edwards. Raspido himself says, and Brother Israel, you did the interview. Israel, my cousin, Raspido self said, none of us were like Prince Emmanuel. He was perfect. I see him grow up perfect amongst us. That's what Raspido self said, not me. He said, even when I check myself, I can't compare to that man. Raspido, undeniable being elders that sing them sweet tune that we love. Raspido, visible and invisible, Melchizedek, with father without mother, yet father, yet mother. That same Raspido. He said so. He was perfect, man. He is the priest amongst us. And even when I look in myself, I can't compare. I can't compare. I ain't put the words in his mouth. So he's not no regular man. Let's just leave it at that. And we can go on and on. So again, the Carroll Gardens massacre. I am telling you, when Prince Emmanuel said Christ was crucified in Jamaica on the Tuesday, he was hung and he didn't die. What kind of weird story that? There's a documentary right on the YouTube about the Shaolin Temple, speaking about training the Shaolin temples from little children, the Shaolin monks from little children. You should watch that documentary. It's a National Geographic documentary. You see them youths practicing to hang themselves. You see them children practicing to hang themselves, and they could hang themselves for minutes and then jump off to gas their breath. They train that from a child. I tell you, Prince Emmanuel is not no regular man. You're talking about turning water to wine, man. Listen, no, I'm not saying he did that, the Bible thing at the wedding. No. I'm just showing you, because I'm not adding nothing here. I am not adding anything here. But I'm just showing you what I've said already. I could go on and on, but I would not. Because enough was said for you to understand. We're dealing with an electric being. And what Rastafari went through in general. Because you see, Rastafari is one man. What Rastafari went through in general represents the crucifixion of Christ. So all them elders you hear talking, and all the beating and brutality and all what they go through, which came to its climax on that Good Friday when the world crucified Christ. Yeah, that Carol Gardens massacre. Yeah, man. That specifically, I am telling you, is symbolic of the crucifixion, the brutality of Christ. Because the Rastaman represents Christ. The ganja plant represents Christ. Yeah. So, as Priest Bob say, Hewford had one of the 10 penny nails. That's what Priest Bob said. Priest Bob say, they crucified Christ in his hands, and let me get it straight. His feet, they had 4 nails. No, 4 nails, I think he said. 4 nails. 2 in his hand, and they had 2 for the feet. But they lopped the feet over, and they put 1 in the nails. So they had 1 saved back. This is what Priest Bob tell me, I'm not lying. And they give it. And Governor Hewford had the nail. Now what I'm saying is this. Priest Bob may not have seen this with his eyes. But you see, the griot that has taught us all of this. Man, listen to me. The griot that has taught us all of this is just that. He is a griot. And this is the problem. That is what I was saying from the beginning. When you go around and say Haile Selassie is God, Prince Emmanuel is God, who is God? Is an equal side. Is equal. Haile Selassie equals God. The problem is, our conception of God is so spooky that when Haile Selassie seems not to live up to the expectation of God and Jesus and these things, we lose faith. So that's why I push them things aside. I just speak of it. But what God? What God? God? Now you don't be disrespecting Haile Selassie. You don't be comparing him to no God. God. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't care how you feel. I don't care how you feel. If you are offended about you and God, that is up to you. I'm dealing with Haile Selassie. I don't pray to God, you know, man. I pray to Haile Selassie. I'm sorry, however you feel. Straight up. Yeah. And I'm a real person. I already explained, for conversation's sake, we could get it out. But you know what I'm talking about, because that's the problem. Because God is some spook in the sky. And God and God. So because the King of Kings, that's why when we put him in artistry form, we have him doing all kind of dynamic things. And the Black Panther and flying through the air. That's why these things catch us. Because we thirst for all of that. When the quote-unquote God is a real man in front of us. That's my point. A human being that could get sick too and feel a little hungry and I gotta go to the toilet. That's God. Oh, I know you don't like that, but the Jesus that was created, so he never go to the toilet. If they could tell you that, they would tell you that. That's why he needs no father, he has no woman, and he has no children, because he can't be like us. If they could fit that stuff in, they would tell you he never went to the toilet. I'm sure they would do that. Maybe they did it in the slavery days. And Master, did Jesus go to the bathroom like us? Oh no. I'm sure they used to teach us Queen Elizabeth never go to the toilet. You know? They used to teach us that. Rastafari, listen, they used to teach us Queen Elizabeth never go and take a crap. So if they can say that about Queen Elizabeth, well, I wouldn't doubt that they said, if anybody said anything on Jesus went and take a leak, who said that? Hang that nigger. You would get hung for saying them kind of things. This is what I'm trying to show you. They have beaten this fairy tale concept of God into us. And God ain't no name, no good name. Good and God is the same word. You take one hold to good, you got God. Turn it around, you get dog. God is the name of a German deity. One-eyed Goth with his horns. Thor and Captain America. Goth. Yeah, that's what it is. Haile Selassie is a pure word. What God you telling me about? I don't feel no way. And the some of you saying, boy, I'll move far from him. Lightning's going to hit him now, any minute now. Haile Selassie. The elements know what I'm talking about. The elements cheered me on. Come on. It's just because I get hotter saying what I have to say like this, you know. Yeah. Straight up. So we ain't dealing with no spookism. Christ was crucified. Christ was crucified in the 60s in Egypt, Jamaica. King Emmanuel is Christ. Straight up. The crucifixion and the resurrection is a deep science. It's a deep science. The 5 bleeding wounds that Christ bare, man. From the 5th of May 1936 to the 5th of May 1941. That's Haile Selassie I. That is the crucifixion there. 5 bleeding wounds, brother. For the sins of the whole world. So you have levels of these things. You have levels of trinities. You have levels of experiences. You have levels of resurrections. You have levels of crucifixions. You have levels of crossing Red Seas. Because we have not understand how to use the Asantewa. What's that? Again, you need to check the mystic vibration every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's the series that we're doing right now. Dealing with symbolic writings. And obviously it's spilling over into symbolic sayings. We're dealing with the Bobo Shanti, Asante, Anansewa. We're dealing with the high science man. This is why I gave you all the example to prove to you the point. We're dealing with the high science man. Listen, you want more, man. Boy, look, I can go on and on. I know some of you saying, go ahead, give it to us. All right. Priest Robbie again. Priest Robbie said that the children one day was singing. And I hear this from other ones, you know, the children was singing some kind of slavery song, Brock Rockstone, down Emmanuel Street, something like that. And he said when Emmanuel hear that song, he rise up from his throne and pick up his rod and come downstairs and just do, he say, see this with his eye, just do so. And so what the judgment there is singing that them around here. He say a wind just come and blow down some of them and blow the roof off of an empress house. Now I hear the story already, you know, but I never hear the roof blow off of the house. I said the roof. He said, my lord, I said the roof. And he said, man, I asked Priest Prince had to go fix the roof. I said, Selassie. So again, I'm just saying it to you, who you're dealing with. So when he said that Christ was crucified on a Tuesday, or hung on the Tuesday and didn't die, that's why I sent it to the little babies in the mountains of the Orient, hanging themselves for minutes and then coming down and go do some other tricks. Yeah? We're dealing with Prince Emmanuel, and a man that they say walked through fire. A man that they pronounce dead several times, even up to now. So when he said they hung him on a Tuesday, and they couldn't kill him and they crucify him and put him in the tomb on the Wednesday, and he resurrected the Good Friday to keep the Sabbath, I'm telling you, all of them things there is historically credible. We just explained to you that in 1958 they beat him to a pulp. Isn't that what you say, Plano? They beat him to a pulp. Pulp dead. And people don't say, wow, we can't believe they killed a man there. They call for the ambulance to carry him to the morgue. Man, little more they would dig a hole and throw him in. And when they opened, he was in blood and sweat, with his eyes closed, and they run away. Well, I mean, come on. Come on. 1963. It wasn't him alone. It came across the land from east to west, north to south. Prince Emmanuel speak of the crucifixion of Christ and his resurrection. And many ones don't understand when, where, and how. But he specifically showed you detail of how it happened. And the elders amongst us that were with him at that time say, hey, this crucifixion took place in the 60s. And I'm sure you could hear the music. Bob Marley playing, yeah. Natty Dread rise again. It's the fight against the Rasta man. It's my neighbor there, just pull up in his bus, playing the song. And if you can't hear it, it's Natty Dread rise again. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, interesting. So I'm not afraid nor ashamed. Yeah, that's interesting. So and he said from the mystics of tomorrow. So it's the mystic vibe. It is the mystic vibration. Yeah, I'm thankful. I think that alone shows me that you've said enough. The resurrection, is at hand. Yeah, give thanks. So it's almost Good Friday, unless you're watching this after. This is Mystic Boy. Yeah. No time to be deceived, you gotta know. This is no time to be deceived, you got to know, not believe. Yeah. And we know for sure that the sacrifice was paid in 1963, man. The Coral Gardens. Yes, we've been brutalized from a long time. That's why I came down the Caribbean chain. But that massacre there stands out. And Good Friday is the day that climaxes to the point that we call it Bad Friday. But at that time, Bobo Shanti celebrate Christ's resurrection. What an interesting thing. And yes, many don't grasp this aspect, but Prince Emmanuel is the Black Christ. He do stand out. We just have to accept it. He do stand out, Give thanks, my brothers and sisters, man. You see the chalice, so this is why the chalice, man. I ain't gonna go into the depths of that, but you know the depths of it, the music style. You know the depths of it. The herb is the Christ that is being sacrificed. The water turned to blood, the chlorophyll, you know it. This ain't no joke thing we doing here. It's the sacrifice of Christ. Yeah. 5 bleeding wounds, man. And we just uploaded something on libation. We didn't burn the pipe, you throw the water, that's the libation. That's symbolic of, the 3 mighty warriors that went to the well to dip out the water. And the mystery system is the key, So give thanks, man. Give thanks to all the elders, Bongo Isaac. Give thanks to, the Bongo Tani and Mama Dean and, all them elders that speak on that documentary. Raspido as well, Congo Rocky, Ma, Shantia, Baby I. Thanks to them elders there, Give thanks to elders of the Congress now that stand firm with the Black Christ, All ones from such times to this time, those here and those passing, Priest Bob, thanks my Lord, Priest Rolo, ones that can tell you Priest Harris, ones that can tell you of what was taking place, clarity, thanks to Priest Earl, Priest Morgan, Priest Flago, Priest Coty, and all ones even up to this time that stay firm with the Black Christ. We give thanks, man. It's a great honor to walk in this order, and I really pray that no one, feel offended by the discussion. It could go deeper than this, but it's just something I thought that needed to be put out to the world, especially to the young ones that are, diligently seeking the truth within this, and don't want to get caught in any fairy tale. Because when you bring to somebody Christ dead and resurrect, that just sounds like fairy tale one time, especially the crucifixion of Christ was in Egypt, Jamaica, and all of that. It's that, we need to be clear with our people. So, and those that have held on to Bobo Shanti with, you want them to feel that they have a good understanding. Hey, I'm just so mellow, man. I don't know what else to say or do. I'm just so mellow. Give thanks if you know your Bible doesn't do that, know your history. Knowledge of your Bible becomes a mystery. I'm just mellow, man. And I am wearing white for my resurrection. I already explained. Holy praise, lead us my Savior, ye to the bars away. Man, love you. You know how to contact me, right? In the link, in the description, man. Radio Anu too. Radio Anu. .com.